As indicated by the Good News accounts, Jesus headed out to ask straight after the last dinner. Imprint and Matthew say the spot he went to was called Jeff Bring. Furthermore, it is here that Jesus goes during a time of mental torment. For quite a long time, we've just had little references from the book of scriptures to get any knowledge into how Jesus went through his last evening on the planet. Presently, a stupendous revelation might have at long last affirmed his way. Burrow laborers in Jerusalem, unintentionally on the planet, a scriptural item that has been pursued for quite a long time. But before we get subscribing to our channel is the best way to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest historical journeys content. It's like having a direct line to our channel. Let's get started. The nursery of Gethsemane was a woods of olive trees. The name is gotten from the nearby words for an olive press, Gethsemane in Aramaic and Gaksh, Eminem in Hebrew. However, there is almost no detail in the book of scriptures. Also, it doesn't specify Jetson's reason. In the narrative of the evening of the last dinner, Jesus dives deep into the nursery with his nearest teachers, Peter, James, and John, and the child of God is agitated about what the future holds for him. So he tells the devotees, "The distress in my heart is perfect to the point that it nearly pounds me." Jesus arranges the three followers to look out as he supplicates alone. However, it doesn't all go to design. It won't be feasible for Jesus to get away from his destiny when he is tracked down in the nursery. The supporters cannot keep their eyes open, and they each nod off. So the sacred figure is let be to obsess about the following day's languishing. Despondently, Jesus requests that God eliminate his cup of torment. Justifiably, he fears what looks for him at Golgotha. However, Jesus needs to bow the knee to divine being's will. He at long last says, "Yet not what I need, however what you need." Furthermore, numerous specialists have portrayed the Savior as forlorn hours in the nursery. Jesus' partners don't get a handle on the profundity of his misery. All things considered, they can't see what's to come. So on numerous occasions, the gathering can't prevent themselves from nodding off. In Peter's case, he can't even keep his eyes open for 60 minutes. So the pioneer behind the Catholic Church demonstrates an unfortunate guard. In the long run, Judas turns up with a noisy group of clerics and older folks. Close by them are the outfitted men who will capture Jesus and remove him. He shouts to his companions, "The hour has come. See, the child of man is presently being deceived under the control of miscreants," and afterward Jesus is begun away from Gethsemane. It's regular that the setting for Jesus' significant torment and possible capture ought to have intrigued individuals who came subsequently. The spot that individuals accepted was Jetsam Primary turned into a magnet for Christian pioneers toward the 200s end. They would implore there something that few authors of the early Middle Age years noted. Jetsam Ain lies across the Kidron Valley from Jerusalem. This split deceives the east of the city between Old Jerusalem and the Mount of Olives, and close by edge, Jesus would have crossed the valley to get to the nursery, maybe needing to move away from the city's limits in Jesus' time. Jetsam may have been minimal in excess of a field loaded up with olive trees. Bear in mind, the Christian essayist Street Jerome surely thought it was a lavish spot, so he deciphered the name as Valley of Overflow, envisioning a region crammed with olive forests and perhaps grape plantations to nobody knows the specific area of Gethsemane. In spite of that, the customary places of worship of Greece, Russia, and Armenia all concur with the Catholic Church on an area that sits on the Mount of Olives' western slant. A site known as the Cavern of the Distress sits close to an extension across the valley. All things considered, further south, Franciscan priests fabricated a congregation. That site is a thrilling chance since it has a nursery that actually has a few old olive trees. There's some contention over their age, however, and regardless of whether they date back over 2,000 years, are these the very trees that Jesus strolled among? Well, the area absolutely fits the depiction at any rate, and the Catholics concur since they assembled the congregation of Gethsemane there. The nursery is on its grounds. Then Israel Franciscan priests don't simply ask and adore God. They likewise fill in as archaeologists accomplishing driving edge work. The priests set up the Land Sanctum Gallery in 1902 in the Old City of Jerusalem, and it's turned into a shelter for archaeological finds from places that have experienced in battles from that point forward. Head priest Father Francesco Patton depicted the nursery in a public statement from December 2020. He said Jetson Primary is perhaps of the main safe haven in the blessed land, on the grounds that here, the practice recalls the certain request of Jesus in his selling out, and in light of the fact that consistently a huge number of pioneers visit and ask here. However, something occurred during development that shocked everybody. It came while the manufacturers chipped away at the passage between the congregation and the valley. For not a great explanation, the passage collapsed. This wouldn't normally have been too enormous of an arrangement. However, the passage's breakdown uncovered a few intriguing finds that provoked the curiosity of archaeologists. The Israel Relics Authority and understudies from the Studium Scriptural Franciscana collaborated to examine the cavern and see what they could safeguard. Driving the work, the two head archaeologists for the dig were a Miter M. and David Yeager, and what they turned up changed sees on the historical backdrop of the area. Simultaneously, the group unearthed under the congregation. They discovered a fascinating things under there too. As per the Hours of Israel, there survived from a Byzantine church that had been being used between the 6th and 8th hundreds of years. Likewise, they found a cloister that dated back to the Crusader times. Nobody would discuss that the congregation had been significant. It was decorated with fragile carvings, all things considered. Yeager and Riem had presumably that had celebrated a critical occasion referenced in the Book of Scriptures. On the floor, they found an engraving in Greek that researchers deciphered for the group, and the words ended up being contacting and true. The engraving read, "For the memory and rest of the admirers of Christ, cross God who have gotten the penance of Abraham. Acknowledge the contribution of your workers and give them abatement of sins cross, so be it." However, it is the most striking thing about the congregation that ended up being the years where the congregation had worked. Yeager told the Hours of Israel in December 2020, "It is intriguing to see that the Byzantine period church was being utilized and may try and have been established when Jerusalem was under Muslim rule. This shows that Christian journeys to Jerusalem went on during this period also." Brigham told the media source that there was no notice of the congregation in the current records. However, it was his conviction that there probably been a compound that contained a gathering of temples, and every last one of them would have connoted one part of the preliminaries that Jesus went through at this specific area. In the meantime, the religious community might have been a guest place or hospice, and it presumably existed until 1187. In that year, the strong salt and salad in the Muslim victor over the Crusaders might have requested it to be wrecked. There is a few proof and verifiable records that the salt and requested stones from holy places in the Mount of Olives region to be sent in sustaining the walls of the city. Yet, why the fervor? Well, initial, a fair warning. Nothing that was established Jetson in is confirmation that the stories of good news are correct. In any case, the very name Jetson fundamental doesn't truly fit a field of olive trees. All things considered, it implies olive press, and that suggests a construction of some kind or another, and the MC that makes the way for the likelihood that the design was there. As Ream made sense of, you wouldn't hope to find a MC out in the fields. However, laborers could have utilized one on the off chance that they had required to have been customarily unadulterated while squeezing olives. This leads Ream to imagine that the shower suggests that there had been an olive push on the site. Proof of the press presently can't seem to be found, however. As per the Hours of Israel, Ream said it isn't from the MC that we are so energized, rather the translation, its importance, in light of the fact that in spite of there being a few unearthings in the spot since 99, and then some, and that there were a few discoveries from the Byzantine and Crusader times and others, there has not been one piece of proof from the Hour of Jesus, nothing in finding proof which recommends that there could have been an activity requiring custom virtue, makes Ream found out if had staggered on the genuine area of Gethsemane. He said, As a paleontologist, there emerges the inquiry, is there proof of the new confirmation story? Or perhaps it happened somewhere else. The apparently ceremonial showers from the second sanctuary time are normal. They have turned up in many spots across Israel, as per the paper. There might have really been many revelations, as a matter of fact. However, this find was extraordinary. It could demonstrate that the site selected by custom is really the right one. The vast majority of the ceremonial showers from that time have been tracked down in unambiguous spots. Specialists have uncovered some improved people homes and others close to graveyards. Be that as it may, the showers have additionally showed up in an agrarian setting where Rhea noted laborers in olive oil and wine creation used them. However, is it conceivable to figure out more about this specific mixin and limited down its utilization? Well, to find out more, the group will next be taking a few examples of its mortar. They will be shipped off specialists who will examine them to attempt to find little grains of olive dust and different things that could highlight what was washed off in the shower. Braham told the Hours of Israel that the dust grains could give more assurance about the connection to delivering olive oil. However, that would require some investment, and the specialists wouldn't be offering responses straight away. Additionally, he asked individuals not to begin imagining that the story in the good book is consequently obvious. Assuming there was an olive push on the site, let's not go overboard. Arium told the Israeli paper. Indeed, even with this custom shower, there's no proof to the reality of the stories of good news. Nevertheless, the revelation stays an interesting one. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a thing.